Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the cusp of a moment steeped in history, a moment of pride for every single Indian, an unforgettable marker in the daunting journey of the last 75 years. It is a moment of triumph for each small step that we took as a nation, looking to reclaim our identity, looking to restore the glory of Bharatvarsh, looking to forge the destiny of a new India with the pain of colonial oppression and the steel of our own determination. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the inauguration of the Naya Sansad is not about moving furniture or people to a new building. It is a monumental statement of the coming of age of our democracy. But it seems that the Congress party that gave this country its first Prime Minister and President will be standing on the wrong side of history when the first rays of sun illuminate the Raisina Hill to light up a shining architecture of sovereign India. A modern, made in India temple of democracy made by us. We the Indians will be unveiled on Sunday, the 28th of May. But the party of Gandhi, the party of Jawaharlal Nehru, and a few others from the opposition space will not participate in the inauguration ceremony. They allege that the unveiling of the new parliament will not strengthen our democracy but weaken it. They've called it a vanity project. They've tagged the ceremony led by the Prime Minister as unconstitutional. The chief of Nitish Kumar's party, the JDU, has even gone so far to suggest that the new parliament will be dumped if the opposition comes to power. However, these parties are increasingly getting isolated, with more and more opposition parties deciding to break away from what clearly appears to be an indefensible position. Yes, viewers, their stance has been further exposed with the Prime Minister and the Home Minister calling the Congress hypocritical, while the Prime Minister requested them to rise above partisan politics for the sake of democracy. The Home Minister listed out instances of Congress and opposition ruled governments not inviting governors for ceremonies to inaugurate state assemblies or secretariats. With the clock ticking and history waiting to sit on judgment of the boycott lobby, we ask, why put Rajniti above Rashtraniti? Why is Rajniti overshadowing Rashtraniti? The Prime Minister did not waste any time to school the Sansad boycott brigade soon after he landed after his whirlwind three-nation tour. He cited the Sydney example to remind the opposition of coming together for the sake of the country. Listen.
साथियों, आपको जानकर के खुशी होगी, और मैंने अब तक जितना भी कुछ देखा पढ़ा, मुझे इस बात की तरफ ध्यान नहीं गया मेरा, और इसलिए मैं बताना चाहता हूं, भारतीय समुदाय का जो कार्यक्रम था, वहां ऑस्ट्रेलिया के प्रधानमंत्री का आना गौरव की बात थी। लेकिन इतना ही नहीं, उस समारोह में पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री भी थे। उस समारोह में पूरी अपोजिशन पार्टी के मेंबर से, रूलिंग पार्टी के मेंबर से, ये लोकतंत्र का वातावरण ऑस्ट्रेलिया के लोग में भारतीयों के प्रति, चाहे पक्ष सत्ता का हो, चाहे पक्ष विपक्ष का हो, सबके सब मिलजुल करके भारतीय समुदाय के इस कार्यक्रम में उतने ही उमंग और उत्साह के साथ शरीक हुए थे।
The inauguration of the new parliament has driven a wedge between the opposition parties. 21 parties have given it in writing that they will skip the event. However, Chandrababu Naidu's TDP, Jagan Reddy's, YSRCP, Mayawati's, BSP, Naveen Patnaik's, BJD, HD Deve Gowda's, JDS and Sukhbir Singh Badal's Akali Dal have chosen to rise above partisan politics to support the inauguration of not just a new building, but a new temple of democracy made by the people of India for the people of India. However, KCR-led BRS is yet to take a call on this event, and the protesting opposition parties that consist of 21 parties are saying that the parliament is not the Prime Minister's fiefdom and that the president should have been invited to inaugurate this momentous building. Listen in to the opposition.
See, the parliament should be inaugurated only by the president of the president is the head of the constitution. Parliament is not only for the ruling party, it is for every party. Prime Minister wants to take advantage of the situation. He wants to, he thinks that he is superior to the president of India.
President is considered to be the custodian of our constitution, but here it is the BJP government which decides as though Mr. Modi is everything.
Instead, invite Honorable President. We all will be part of that historic function. Why this kind of RSS mindset shown? And it is they are denigrating the office of the President of India.
Times Now has accessed the order of events that will take place on the 28th of May. And two main things stand out. Sources indicate that the Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman will be reading out the message of the President and the Vice President. Sources also say that Rajya Sabha's Leader of Opposition will be given the opportunity to address the event. The event will culminate with Prime Minister Modi's address. Pulling back no punches, Home Minister Amit Shah reminded the opposition of its double standards. Showing the mirror, Home Minister recounted how multiple times the institutions of our democracy were inaugurated by chief ministers and even by those who never held any ministerial positions. For example, he cited Sonia Gandhi in 2020, who laid the foundation stone of the new Chhattisgarh Assembly. Interestingly, not the governor's name, but that of Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi are etched on the commemorative plaque. Listen in to Home Minister Amit Shah.
मैं आज आसाम के हजारों युवाओं के सामने, लाखों लोगों के सामने इनको पूछना चाहता हूं। मेरे पास सार्वजनिक सूचनाओं से एकत्रित कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन है। मैं कांग्रेस पार्टी को पूछना चाहता हूं, छत्तीसगढ़ में विधानसभा का भूमि पूजन श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी, श्री राहुल गांधी और वहां के मुख्यमंत्री ने किया। उस वक्त राज्यपाल महोदया कहां थी? वो ट्राइबल थी, आपने नहीं बुलाया। झारखंड विधानसभा का भूमि पूजन श्री हेमंत सोरेन जी ने किया, उन्होंने भी राज्यपाल महोदय को नहीं बुलाया। असम में श्री तरुण गोगोई ने किया, उस वक्त भी राज्यपाल को नहीं बुलाया। मणिपुर विधानसभा का लोकार्पण श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी और डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह ने किया, राज्यपाल नहीं थे। आंध्र प्रदेश में चंद्रबाबू नायडू जी ने किया और तमिलनाडु में श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी और मनमोहन सिंह और मुख्यमंत्री ने किया। मैं आज कांग्रेस के मित्रों को पूछना चाहता हूं, जब आप करते हो तब ये सब कुछ ठीक होता है, और जब भारतीय जनता पार्टी करती है, मोदी जी करते हैं, आपकी वक्र दृष्टि इसका बहिष्कार करती है।
So the legitimate question we're asking on the news are tonight: why put politics above Rashtra pride? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining me tonight, Nalin Kohli, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Abhaya Chaudhary, YSRCP MLA, Dr. Shashi Panja, Minister in charge, Department of Women and Child in West Bengal government from the Trinamool Congress, also joining us tonight, A. Saravanan, National Spokesperson of the DMK, Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress Party, Acharya Pramod Krishnam, senior leader of the Congress Party, also joining us on this debate. My first question goes to Dr. Shashi Panja. Dr. Shashi Panja, it's the inauguration of the parliament for the people, by the people, and of the people of India. And this time it is constructed also by the people of India. It does not have a colonial hangover. It is really the coming of age of a democracy in the 75th year. Dr. Shashi Panja, do you think bringing petty politics into it is really opportune at this moment?
Good evening, Navika ji, and good evening to all who are joining in this discussion. Now, Navika ji, in your introduction itself, you mentioned how important this occasion is. And that precisely leaves us with a point, why is the president excluded from it? You see, not quite often that a new parliament building will be constructed. Second point, Navika ji, it's not about, who's attending and who's not attending. More than that, we feel that there is a systematic decimation of the parliament. There are so many questions that we have to ask. Why is it that, the parliament, initially the first Lok Sabha used to function for 135 days. Now it functions for less than 60 days a year. Why is it that there's no deputy speaker for the last 4 years? Why is it that for the first time that we get to see that, traditions, values, precedents, and rules are all being, just bulldozed? Because here you have treasury benches who are screaming, and there are, you have seen that sessions have been shut even before the formal adjournment. So there are various such examples that we can give. The bills are not sent anymore to the scrutiny. I mean, on an average, 1 out of maybe 14. Initially, it was 7 out of 14. So somehow, parliamentary democracy is not being maintained. What we are asking is not Rajniti. We are just asking as to why the president, who is an integral part of the parliament, which includes both the Council of Houses, etc., why is the president not being invited? Why is the vice president also not being invited? So there is, we are actually asking, that etiquette has to be maintained, the rules have to be maintained. Here the rules are not being maintained. And that is what we are asking for. And look at the joint statement. It clearly mentions this. It clearly mentions the joint statement by 19 like-minded opposition parties are just requesting that the Constitution gives that exclusivity by Article 79, that the President, that there should be a Parliament for the Union, which consists of the President and the 2 houses of are there, etc. And so she's the head of the state. He or she is the head of the state.
So are you saying a popularly elected Prime Minister who represents, 303 parliamentarians who then in turn represent a large part of the voting Indians, does not have the right over a democratic temple of democracy and the right to inaugurate it? Are you saying that? Are you questioning the right of the Prime Minister, popularly elected?
Navika ji, with due respect to our Honorable Prime Minister, if you see the protocol, the President is the first citizen, the Vice President is the second citizen, the Prime Minister is the third citizen, and with due respect to him, you see, the President is elected, is elected to this post. So even we are members in our state legislatures, we all vote for the post of so indirect or direct election. So the president is very much an integral part. It's just that, look at the rules. Why have the rules been dumped?
Oh my God, such a stickler for rules, Nalin Kohli-ji. They want you to follow the rules, and the first citizen and second citizen get precedence over the third citizen. That's the objection of the opposition. How do you respond?
So the opposition takes a decision and then is looking at means to justify it. So let's look at the opposition first. They have consistently opposed the building of the Parliament building. They've called it a vanity project. They call it unnecessary, wasteful expenditure. They say it was not needed. They ignore the fact that India needed a better parliament, a bigger parliament, a parliament with more space, more facilities, more security, all of it, something that has preceded, this demand has preceded the coming of Prime Minister Modi's government. So they opposed it. They didn't believe that this parliament building would be built so fast and would be ready in the 75th year of independence. Then they said, okay, there's a problem with the date. Why 28th is Veer Savarkarji is associated with him? Why 28th? Why not 29th? Why not 27th? Not asking why 28th was done. There may be scheduling issues, other things. They ignore that. So that's the second. When they found that this did not cut ice, then they said, okay, why is the President of India not inaugurating it? Now they have love for the President of India, which is very good. But where were they? The opposition parties, the Congress particularly, when they were using inappropriate words for Draupadi Murmu ji, when they did not look at the opportunity of electing a lady and from the tribal community as the President of India. It wasn't an unopposed election. It was a contested election. Where are these norms and rules when it comes to their own states and it comes to their own acts? Did not Indira Gandhi ji finally inaugurate the Parliament Annex building? It was not done by the President of India. Did not Rajiv Gandhi ji choose to lay the foundation stone of the library in Parliament compound? So what rules, what conventions, what Amit Bhai Shah, the Honorable Home Minister, said? He clearly pointed out cases in Assam, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and other states. That if the President is the first citizen of the country, the Governor is the first citizen of the state. Where are all these rules and conventions in ignoring the Governor? And what was the position of, say, Sonia Gandhi ji in the UPA Congress government? She was there at all these events. She overwrote, or I mean literally ran the government despite not being in the government. Mr. Rahul Gandhi literally tore an ordinance, threw it in the dustbin while the Prime Minister of India was abroad on foreign soil in 2013. So these are convenient arguments or arguments of convenience. They are arguments to put forward when they don't believe in it, the opposition, and they've acted contrary to it.
एब्सोल्युटली आचार्य जी मेरा सवाल आपसे है जो नलिन कोहली जी उठा रहे हैं। राहुल गांधी, सोनिया गांधी का नाम वहां प्लाक पर है छत्तीसगढ़ की असेंबली के बाहर, लेकिन कांग्रेस पार्टी का कहना है कि भाई आप प्रेसिडेंट से नहीं करवा रहे इसलिए हम बहिष्कार कर रहे हैं। तो वहां छत्तीसगढ़ में क्या हुआ था? गवर्नर मौजूद थी। तमिलनाडु में क्या हुआ, झारखंड में क्या हुआ, ये तमाम एग्जाम्पल्स बताए गए। और राहुल गांधी जी तो वो है जिन्होंने अपने ही प्रधानमंत्री का ऑर्डिनेंस फाड़ दिया था। आज संविधान समझा रहे हैं पूरे देश को। सवाल का जवाब तो कांग्रेस को देना चाहिए।
नाविका जी, देखिए, मैं इसको राजनीतिक फायदा नुकसान के नज़रिए से नहीं देखना चाहता, ना मैं इस बहस का हिस्सा बनना चाहता हूं कि राहुल जी ने ऐसा क्यों किया और गवर्नर साहब को क्यों नहीं बुलाया गया, सोनिया जी ने ऐसा क्यों किया। मैं इसको देश के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखना चाहता हूं और मैंने अपना जो मेरा विचार है, मैं ऐसा मानता हूं कि देश की संसद जो है वो भाजपा का घर नहीं है, वो देश की इमारत है। ये बात बिल्कुल ठीक है कि विपक्ष के कुछ नेताओं ने ये विषय उठाया कि राष्ट्रपति महोदया को उसका उद्घाटन करना चाहिए था। मैं इस मांग का समर्थन करता हूं। बड़ा अच्छा होता कि राष्ट्रपति महोदया करती, लेकिन ये विषय तो राष्ट्रपति भवन और केंद्र सरकार के बीच का है, और अगर राष्ट्रपति महोदया नहीं कर रही हैं तो इसका जवाब राष्ट्रपति भवन दे सकता है या केंद्र की सरकार दे सकती है। हम इसमें इतना कहते हैं कि किसी भी सूरत में यदि देश के प्रधानमंत्री के द्वारा देश के नवनिर्मित संसद का उद्घाटन होता है तो मुझे लगता है कि इस पर उसका बायकॉट करना ये ठीक नहीं है, क्योंकि भारत में बने हुए संसद के भवन का उद्घाटन अगर भारत का प्रधानमंत्री करता है तो इसमें क्या गलती है, इसमें क्या बुराई है। आफ्टर ऑल हिंदुस्तान में संसद बन रही है तो उसका उद्घाटन हिंदुस्तान का प्रधानमंत्री करेगा, पाकिस्तान का प्रधानमंत्री तो करेगा नहीं। और मुझे लगता है कि सारे विपक्षी नेताओं को, और ऐसे बहुत से विपक्षी दल हैं, ऐसे बहुत से विपक्षी नेता हैं जिन्होंने बायकॉट नहीं किया है। मायावती जी ने इसका समर्थन किया है, नवीन पटनायक जी ने इसका समर्थन किया है, जगन रेड्डी ने इसका समर्थन किया है, और राम गोपाल जी जो समाजवादी पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय महासचिव हैं, आदरणीय अखिलेश जी के चाचा हैं, उन्होंने भी समर्थन किया है, सीनियर पार्लियामेंट्रियन हैं। और मैं भी ऐसा मानता हूं कि ये मेरा मत है, ये नहीं कह रहा हूं कि इसमें कांग्रेस पार्टी को या समाजवादी पार्टी को, मैं तो उनसे निवेदन करना चाहता हूं कि इन द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ नेशन, देश के हित में भारत के इस भवन को भाजपा का ना समझें और भारत के संसद भवन को भाजपा की धरोहर समझना ठीक नहीं होगा। हम नरेंद्र मोदी जी का विरोध कर सकते हैं, हम भारत के प्रधानमंत्री का विरोध आज भी कर रहे हैं, कल भी करेंगे, उनकी नीतियों का, लेकिन उनके फैसलों का। हम देश के प्रधानमंत्री से अगर हम दुश्मनी करना चाहेंगे, हम उसे अपना दुश्मन मानेंगे, तो लोकतंत्र कहां बच पाएगा?
Very valid questions. Very valid questions being raised, Mr. Saravanan, by Acharya Pramod Krishnam. Who do you think, if not a democratically elected Prime Minister, should inaugurate the new parliament? And the precedents are there. You're from Tamil Nadu. You know, in Tamil Nadu, Manmohan Singh and Sonia Gandhi were there to inaugurate the legislature. How come suddenly you found this entire objection to the Prime Minister inaugurating something, and that also the Parliament, a new Parliament, to mark the 75th year of our independence, and a Parliament that is conceived by Indians, made by Indians, for Indians? I don't know, why are we getting into such petty politics on the issue of a new Parliament? Is it not meant for everybody? Are you not hoping to be elected, and are you not hoping to be present in Parliament? So boycotting the inauguration but attending the Parliament session and demanding that it sits for more session makes sense to you?
Navika, one big question remains still unanswered. Why does the president has not been invited? Why have they not invited the president for the inauguration function? Is this misogyny or patriarchy? They take great pride in Nari Shakti. The Prime Minister waxes eloquence about Beti Bachao every other time. This is the wonderful opportunity to reinforce that he stands for what he preaches. But the Prime Minister falls short. Is he so insecure that he does not want to share the limelight with somebody else? He does not want someone else to be in the frame. And any first-year law student will tell you that the president
misogyny,
and the governors
if
are not
you're talking
equal.
about misogyny, Mr. Saravanan, may I ask you, why is Mr. M.K. Stalin the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu? Why not Kanimori? She's the daughter. And if dynasties have to rule, why not Kanimori? Please answer that question.
The thing is cut. This thing is cut. I'm just coming on this. Mr. For you, I'm telling you, the people of Tamil Nadu have elected Mr. M.K. Stalin. Madam Kanimori is not the governor. We are talking about the president here. She's not the president. If she is the president, we would ask the same question. So, where is this? This is the question.
I don't get it, where misogyny comes in. The country and the BJP can field the president for the top job, but misogyny is being reflected in the decision of the Prime Minister inaugurating this. आचार्य जी, ये नारी शक्ति का अपमान है क्या अगर प्रधानमंत्री इनॉग्रेट करेंगे? आपने हाथ उठाए, मैं आपसे पूछना चाह रही हूँ।
नहीं नाविका जी, मुझे हंसी आ रही इन बातों पे कि कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं साहब दलित राष्ट्रपति हैं, तो मायावती जी जो बहन जी हैं उनसे बड़ा दलित नेता है कोई देश में? वो तो कह रही है, मुझे कोई ऐतराज नहीं, देश की संसद का निर्माण हो रहा, मैं स्वागत करती हूँ। दूसरी बात है, राष्ट्रपति जी नाराज हैं, उनका अपमान हो गया, ये राष्ट्रपति भवन ने विज्ञप्ति जारी की क्या? जिनका अपमान हो रहा वो तो चुप हैं, और जो हम लोग शोर मचा रहे हैं, हम ढोल पीट रहे हैं खामुखा। अरे भाई ये बताइएगा, राष्ट्रपति महोदया के हाथों से, कर कमलों से यदि इसका उद्घाटन होता तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन देश की राष्ट्रपति महोदया के हाथों से अगर इसका उद्घाटन नहीं हो रहा है तो इसका फैसला किसने किया होगा? या तो राष्ट्रपति भवन ने या देश की सरकार ने। हम कौन होते हैं? तीसरा पॉइंट ये है कि आप देश की राष्ट्रपति को तो राष्ट्रपति मानते हैं, लेकिन देश के प्रधानमंत्री को प्रधानमंत्री नहीं मानते। ये देश का प्रधानमंत्री किसने चुना? पीपल ऑफ दिस कंट्री। क्या देश की जनता के द्वारा चुने गए प्रधानमंत्री को संसद भवन का उद्घाटन करने का अधिकार नहीं है? अब अगर मैं इस बात को कह दूंगा तो सारे जितने लोग हैं वो कहेंगे साहब आचार्य प्रमोद कृष्णन तो बीजेपी के समर्थक हो गए। बीजेपी का समर्थन मैं नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैं बीजेपी का विरोधी हूं और बीजेपी का विरोधी आगे भी रहूंगा। प्रधानमंत्री की नीतियों का विरोध करिएगा, प्रधानमंत्री के फैसलों की आलोचना कीजिएगा, लेकिन देश के प्रधानमंत्री को प्रधानमंत्री तो मानिएगा। सवाल यह खड़ा हो रहा है, आप नरेंद्र मोदी से दुश्मनी रखने के चक्कर में देश की संसद का विरोध करना चाह रहे हैं। तो मैं सारे विपक्ष के नेताओं से, उन नेताओं से हाथ जोड़ के अपील करना चाहता हूं कि देश की संसद का जो भवन है ये भाजपा का नहीं है, इसे भाजपा का मत समझिएगा। और भारत के संसद के भवन का उद्घाटन भारत का प्रधानमंत्री नहीं करेगा तो कि चीन का प्रधानमंत्री करेगा, पाकिस्तान का प्रधानमंत्री करेगा, ईरान का प्रधानमंत्री करेगा, श्रीलंका का प्रधानमंत्री करेगा? कैसी बातें कर रहे हैं?
I want to ask you, Mr. Sarvanan, in the election of the president, you did not support her. That was misogyny. Did you not respect a tribal woman taking the highest office? And today you have remembered that the government is doing misogyny by not inviting the president. Please answer that question.
Yeah. She is now the president of our country. The president of our country. I cannot come here and justify past political decisions.
Oh.
That is different. She was this thing. Now the question is, the nation wants to know why she's not invited. Who is afraid of her presence? Well, why the BJP is not answering?
You did not support her, but you are always present to ask questions. So let me ask Mr. Abaya Chaudhary. Mr. Abaya Chaudhary, they did not support the candidature of Draupadi Murmu ji as the President of India. They voted against her. And today, they are so worried about whether she is hurt, whether she has been belittled, whether this is misogyny. Do you think this is a concern for propriety? Do you think this is support for the president, or do you think this is needless politics?
Thanks, Navika. Absolutely, this is needless politics. I mean, first thing we need to understand is world is watching us. The entire world is watching and looking at India, because this is about national identity and the unity of our country. Parliament is the temple of democracy, and we have built a monumental landmark. And every citizen, the 140 crore Indians, are looking at this, and everybody is looking at it as a pride. We have huge respect for the president. Absolutely, everybody has huge respect at the president. At the same time, highest elected authority needs also to be honored. Parliament is the temple of democracy, which deserves everyone's participation without any bias. I was asking, tomorrow these same opposition parties need to enter the same parliament and debate so many developmental issues. In such case, there is no sanity of boycotting the inaugural just because it is being done by Honorable PM Modi ji. I mean, as you said earlier, in many states, new assemblies were inaugurated by the chief ministers only. Consider these, I urge all opposition parties to join the great inauguration, create a record of political harmony in front of the world. The world is watching us, as I said. I mean, this is not the time to do politics. Opposition boycotting is unfair. I mean, the government has made it, and it has right to unveil it. I mean, I don't think opposition parties are speaking about or resonating the public of India at large, are feeling it as a pride, and they're feeling this is a monumental landmark, and this is new India's ambitious plans. The new parliament will become the greatest landmarks of our country, and I think we all has to come out of this politics at this point of time. Just raise for the occasion, and it just not us. I mean, if you go to any country, anywhere across.
Well said. So, Dr. Shashi Panja, I want to ask you that Mamata Banerjee said, I'm supporting Yashwant Sinha as the presidential candidate, and if I had known earlier that Murmu ji was the candidate of the NDA, I would have thought about supporting her. So she did not find the respect. She did not decide to stand with a tribal woman at that time of the election of the president. And today, you suddenly are so worried about the honor of the president. While I'm not saying that the president must not be honored, we are all for honoring the president, but I want to ask you, can there be a competition between the democratically elected prime minister and the president, the first citizen of the country? And is the opposition now beginning to do that because it is completely out of any other idea of trying to create a space for themselves?
Navika ji, this somehow everybody, all of us are being misled. But the very important point is the election of the president is over. And there's every right of every party to put up a candidate for the president. That is over. There's no disrespect. The point here, without even naming the president, it's the post of the president. The post of the president is also an elected post, because as I mentioned earlier, we have indirectly or directly elected the president. It is an elected post. There's no disrespect for Draupadi Murmu ji. You know, in fact, the questions itself lies unanswered, which I was saying in the beginning. We are missing the spirit. It's a new building. It's a momentous occasion. Why?
Building, ma'am. That is where you're making an error. It is not a building.
Navika ji, allow us. We are also sitting patiently, ma'am. You have somebody did compare that the library, where the parliament library was inaugurated by so and so, some parliamentary annex was inaugurated by so and so. Why are we getting into that argument? This is the main parliament where we legislate. It is that important. The president is part of this legislature. It's part. The governor in the states is not part. He's the nominated. The governor is a nominated post, but the president is the elected post. With due respect to both, why are we bringing in that so-and-so inaugurated and so-and-so was not present? Why are we missing the main spirit? Is the spirit of the parliament has to be there where
I'm coming to you, Lokesh Jindal, but Nalin Kohli, my question to you is this. They're saying you're missing the spirit. They're saying this is the place where legislative business is conducted. And the legislative business is conducted by whom? By the government, headed by the Prime Minister. Yet, they still continue to say, we will not go in there for the inauguration. We will later go in there for conducting the legislative business. I mean, does this make any sense to you?
Navika ji, you need to complete that. The president also sanctions all the bills.
Navika ji, perhaps they should be saying we will go later.
All laws are given assent by the president.
I know, Dr. Shashi Panja, all laws are given assent, but the laws are introduced by the government, headed by the Prime Minister. They begin from there.
Perfectly okay. So you still, why the president gives the final assent to it? Why disregard? We have no, with all regards to the Honorable Prime Minister.
Nalin Kohli, respond.
So there are 3-4 points I wish to make. The first, at the beginning of the program, Navika ji, I pointed out that they are essentially opposed to the project. So they decided that they will oppose all of it, and every time there's a new goalpost. Second, look at the irony. This building is not for the BJP or only for BJP MPs. In a democracy, the people, and that's why it's called the House of the People, Lok Sabha, people elect their representatives. Then the party with the maximum representatives elects its leader, who's the Prime Minister of India. The president doesn't run the government, though the government runs in the name of the president. But the fact of the matter is that the president functions on the aid and advice of the cabinet, which is headed by the Prime Minister. So in a democracy, the elected post is the highest post in this. In Rashtrapati Bhavan, which is the place where the Honorable President of India stays, the Prime Minister cannot be the highest post there. So everything, this is democracy. You have to recognize the institutes for where they stand. The opposition parties are disrespecting the mandate. They are disrespecting the fact that the democratic process has brought Prime Minister Modi into that duly through 2 elections. They are disrespecting all that and finding an excuse by using in a sense, by invoking the President of India, whom they did not support. It wasn't an unopposed election of Draupadi Murmu ji.
That's not the point.
The parties who are making the maximum noise today are the ones who opposed it. So, I mean, how can you reduce the President of India to an argument of convenience? It has to be an argument of conviction, based on a sound conviction.
Argument of convenience, or is it an argument of conviction, Lokesh Jindal? Because समझदारी की बात तो आचार्य जी बता रहे हैं। आचार्य जी बता रहे हैं कि देश का नया पार्लियामेंट अगर प्रधानमंत्री नहीं उद्घाटन करेंगे तो क्या चीन के प्रधानमंत्री करेंगे या पाकिस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री करेंगे? आपकी ये जो बहानेबाजी है इसमें कन्वीनियंस ज्यादा है, कन्विक्शन कम है।
Navika ji, we use the word parliament. You know what's the origin of parliament? The head of the state used to invite all the representatives and they used to gather, and that gathering was called as parliament, from where we get the term parliament. You read Article 94, 99, it is the president, election commission after the elections are over, submits the list to the president of India. And it is the president of India who initiates the process of government formation. Read Article 94. The Speaker pro tem is appointed by the President of India. Subsequently, when we talk about Article 99 oath and all these formalities, the President plays an important ceremonial role. There can never be a parliament without a president. I think Mr. Nalin Kohli will agree to this. He talked about reasonable arguments. I'm putting forth certain facts to you. Secondly, if you're talking about historical tradition, the basis on which the Lockean principle of parliamentary democracy that we adhere to, we are basically abiding by a Westminster form of parliamentary model, and all the basis of separation of power, checks and balances. Over here, the president who takes the oath, acting as the custodian and guardian of the constitution, plays a very important role, keeping in mind the order of precedence.
The Prime Minister doesn't take the oath of the constitution? The Prime Minister does not take the oath of the Constitution. आचार्य जी ये वेस्टमिंस्टर मॉडल में ही रहेंगे, इनका कॉलोनियल माइंडसेट नहीं बदलेगा, ये भारत की सिविलाइजेशन नहीं समझेंगे, इनको सेंगोल नहीं समझ आएगा, इनको नया पार्लियामेंट, भारतीयता, ये कुछ नहीं समझ आएगा, इनको वेस्टमिंस्टर मॉडल चाहिए। अब आप बताइए, ये सांस्कृतिक धरोहर जो भारत की है, इसको दबा देना चाहते हैं?
देखिए नाविका जी, पहली बात तो यह है कि मैं इस बहस में बिल्कुल नहीं पढ़ना चाहता हूं। इस बहस के दो पहलू हैं, एक है राजनीतिक पहलू, दूसरा है राष्ट्र का पहलू। राजनीतिक दृष्टिकोण से अगर मैं इसे देखूं तो इस बायकॉट को करने से विपक्ष को कोई फायदा नहीं होगा, क्योंकि बीजेपी पूरे देश की जनता के सामने ये कहेगी कि हमने देश की नई संसद का निर्माण किया और उस संसद के उद्घाटन समारोह का ये बायकॉट कर रहे हैं। अरे ये देश तो वो देश है, भारत की संस्कृति, सभ्यता और संस्कार क्या है, भारत के ट्रेडिशन क्या है, भारत की रवायत क्या है। दुश्मन के घर का भी मुहूर्त जब होता है तो हम उसे बधाई देते हैं। ये तो भारत का घर बन रहा है, ये तो देश का घर है। अरे इसको हमने सबने कहा कि भाई मुर्मू जी से इसका उद्घाटन करना चाहिए, यहाँ तक ठीक है बात, लेकिन आप अगर देश का प्रधानमंत्री उसको इनॉग्रेट कर रहा तो हम उस भवन का बायकॉट कर देंगे उद्घाटन का। तो इसका पॉलिटिकल फायदा जो है वो भी बीजेपी को होगा, क्योंकि बीजेपी कहेगी कि ये देश की संसद के निर्माण के खिलाफ है, नंबर एक। नंबर टू, अब है राष्ट्र का सवाल। जब राष्ट्र का सवाल आता है तो राजनीति छोटी पड़ जाती है, लेकिन अफसोस की बात यह है कि विपक्ष में कुछ नेता ऐसे हैं जिनकी प्रॉब्लम बीजेपी नहीं है, वो बीजेपी को अपना दुश्मन नहीं मानते, वो मोदी को व्यक्तिगत रूप से अपना दुश्मन मानते हैं, और ये वही प्रॉब्लम है। वो लोग मोदी को उनसे पूछिएगा इस देश का प्रधानमंत्री कौन है, पूछिएगा ना, सबसे पूछिएगा। और ये जो सवाल मैं उठा रहा हूं, ये सवाल से हो सकता है बीजेपी बड़ा मजा ले, लेकिन मैं इसलिए नहीं उठा रहा हूं कि मुझे बीजेपी खुश करनी है, लेकिन सच्चाई को बयां करना चाहिए। राजनीति में होने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि झूठी बोलो, राजनीति में होने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि सरकार का बिना मतलब विरोध करो। अरे भाई, क्या जब चुनाव लड़ रही थी मुर्मू जी तो क्या महिला नहीं थी? क्या महिला नहीं थी? क्या शेड्यूल ट्राइब्स नहीं थी? क्या आदिवासी नहीं थी? क्या दलित नहीं थी?
बिल्कुल।
देख सके
सवाल शशि पांजा, एवरीबडी शेकिंग देयर हेड। आई एम कंप्लीटली आउट ऑफ टाइम, बट The question here is very clear and straight. Just because you are anti-Modi, will you boycott the parliament, the new parliament of a new India? A parliament that will show us the next 75 years of this country? A new parliament that is going to be the temple of democracy, where every elected member is going to represent people of India? You will boycott that? What about the people? Who will you represent? Have you asked the country? Or is this just narrow politics? Rise above narrow politics. That's all people of India will tell you if you were to ask them. Well, let's leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side, the big Sheesh Mahal exclusive coming up.